stream. Hey everyone, this is OotiniCast episode 346 being recorded on October 23rd, 2018. This is the YouTube Raw version that we're also live streaming, and then the audio will be cleaned up and it will be sent out as a podcast. So, alright, I've got to do a few bits before we actually get going. And let's see. Okay, looks like the stream is kind of getting rolling there. Okay. Cool. Alright, just a couple people in the chat room right now, and I'll tweet this out and let people know that we're here.
Yeah, I just announced it in Discord as well.
Cool. $346. All right, got it tweeted out. And I think we're good to go. All right. Unless you guys have anything else, I'll go ahead and get us going. Oh, hang on a second. I forgot one thing. Ah, phooey.
Looks like we have a send-off.
Let's see.
Ooh. Dekion induction cascade damage is reduced. In the Isaac's fight.
Yeah.
Now if they'll fix Nahut.
Alright, so I just need a... Alright, that... Okay, I think we're good to go. You guys still good, right?
Still good,
I think
yep.
so.
Alright. Going in 5 then. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. Wanawanga. This is episode 346 being recorded on Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, Dr Swtor. Hey, Doc.
Hey, Chill, how you doing?
Great. And with us today is Guild Emissary Dekion. Dekion, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Excellent. How's your week? What you been doing in game?
Oh gosh, what haven't I been doing in game? It's been actually a couple of busy weeks. A few weeks ago we took advantage of the double XP CXP event.
Mm-hmm.
And we held a leveling event on the Utini Rage side. Grouped up with several guildies and spent a few hours on Saturday night participating in the traditional double XP bug hunt on Balmora. It started off, it was just a few of us, and then the next thing I know, we had a group of 24. So finished up a couple of tunes that I've had probably since DVL that were just stuck at level 50 or 60. I got those to 70. And I rolled 2 brand new tunes, 2 Assassins, and got them to 70, and ended up transferring one over to the Starforge.
Oh, okay, cool. So is that for Swtor Unite, or what is that for?
It is.
Excellent.
So I packed up all their outfits, I grabbed a couple of CXP boosts, stole some money from my bank, and transferred her over.
That's
so now
cool.
She's pretty set. She's, I believe, 247 armor, so she's set to go for an operation. We're still focusing on Conquest in both guilds. However, the focus isn't as strong as it was during the summer, because we understand people are busy, and Halloween is coming, and Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and family holidays and stuff. So,
Right.
but I would like to give a huge shout out to one of our generals, Sinwolf, for organizing World Boss Wednesdays. He's really kind of taken off, and he had an opportunity to talk to a guild leader in the Mandalorian clans. We ended up grouping with them for a spectacular World Boss Wednesday last week, where we took down 6 world bosses, 2 on Hoth,
Wow.
headed to Section X, went to Belsavis, Tatooine, and then we finished on Drum and Kos, mostly to get achievements since Conquest. We weren't looking for Conquest points for those. However, I would like to shout out that if you're interested in joining, do a /cjoin WBW in-game on this Tilshan server, and we'd be more than happy to include you. We do start at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 6 p.m. Pacific.
That's 5, actually. 5 Pacific. Yep.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we will alternate factions each week. So last week we did the Imp side. This week we're going to be doing the Republic side. And again, I'd like to shout out to their guild leader, Mandalorian Warlord, and the rest of the Mandalorian clans, and look forward to maybe jumping into some harder world bosses, Nightmare Pilgrim, and things like that.
Very cool.
Upcoming on Friday, we're going to be running our weekly Jar Jar. And then on Sunday, we're meeting up on our Utini Rage Rishi Stronghold for some non-toxic Utini Ball.
Nice. That sounds fun.
But how do you damage other players if you're not being toxic, Dekion?
Well, it's not about how much damage you inflict, it's about how less mental damage you can inflict.
That sounds like something a non-toxic person would say.
I did want to mention that I did find a post on Reddit over the weekend. The guilds Desolation and Alchemic Psychonauts are hosting a Scare Bear event on Oricon for the Scare Bear title, which is a PvP based achievement. They'll be doing 12 to 14 rounds, each lasting 10 minutes. It's open to the community, so basically one team will attack, the other will die, and then they'll switch. And it's basically just so everybody can get the Scare Bear achievement and
Very
title
cool.
for Halloween.
Oh, and
pretty
it,
much
and
wraps
it,
it up.
it includes a title. Nice.
Yes, Scare Bear.
Oh, okay.
it's
I
a
missed
nice
that.
legacy title.
Very nice.
Is that the achievement for defeating players in the PvP instance on Oricon?
It is.
Mhm.
It is? Okay. I don't have that.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure there's few who don't, unless they, specifically do something like this.
right. And this is a great opportunity to kind of jump in with players that also want the title and are just willing to kind of play with other players to get it instead of your typical PvP.
Nice. Excellent. And anything else?
No, that actually about does it.
All right, awesome. Dr. Swtor.
Yeah, so before I share about me, Dekion, it's so cool that the kinds of things you're talking about are not just isolated to our guilds, that it's getting that feel of, the Satil Shan server is welcome, and I really hope that people outside of our guild listen and kind of put these things on their calendar, because that's what MMOs are all about, and stuff like that's great, because if I could fit that into my schedule, that would be an opportunity to do content that I don't get to. Because if I have a group big enough to do that, I'm generally in an operation, and that only happens for me like a couple hours every week. So really, really good job, you and Sinwolf, everyone who is in Utini guilds and making the events happen. You guys rock.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So chill. I've been really busy, but not so much in a way that requires being logged in to Swtor. So,
is this that crazy school stuff you're talking about?
Yeah, but there's a bit of an overlap, so I'm excited to share that. And I have been playing. So, first, I've been doing spreadsheets and taking that survey data for all the podcasters who are working up their excitement for SWTOR Unite, and just figuring out, okay, so if I have Chill play this role, then that means he's melee DPS, and that means this person needs to tank. But if they tank, then this person needs to heal instead of DPS, because we need, so it's like a Rubik's Cube of podcasters, and I'm trying to assemble a 16-person team with people in roles they enjoy doing. I think we've got it. So that's exciting. Not a huge time investment, but it's still just, shuffling the names across the colored columns so we have the right number of purple and red and green in our group. And then, so we have that locked in. And as far as playing, I have been leveling up a Juggernaut on the Satil Sean server. And she's a different eye color alternate version of my original Juggernaut from the Starforge.
Okay.
But she is full dark side. The other one is full light side. So right now, Varys gave me a ship, and I got to leave Dromenkos. So
right.
that's fun. I'm leveling her in DPS stance, but once I get to the command crate part of the game, I'll spend equal like usually I do my weeklies as a DPS, and then I do my group content as a tank, so that over time I'll have both sets of gear well enough to at least do story mode ops. And I'm also trying a few tunes. I have that tune. She's my synth weaver for this server, and I have a armor mech bounty hunter, so I'm trying to get my crafters in place. And that's just not fun when you can only send out 3 or 4 companions at a time.
Right.
I know years ago 5 was the max, so 4 isn't that bad, but when you don't have 32 companions and you can't send out 8, it's the worst. So a legacy perk that we can unlock, 25,000 credits, 50,000 credits, 75,000 credits to just up your crafting deployment +1. That would be so cool. BioWare, help me out. And
right. Kind of like how you can get speeder piloting ahead of level,
right,
by paying for it.
Just let me send my ship droid with my Hexid and Ranos and Nico and Mako. I just want all of them gone. I'll even spend 1 million credits to get HK on that tune if I can send him too. So it's a small gripe. It's just something that I'm not used to experiencing because I'm used to playing endgame. I don't usually level new tunes, so that's different. And I've been scrambling, just a mad dash towards completing PowerPoint after PowerPoint after PowerPoint because I have a new class that started this week. I'm really excited. I have my Padawans in the room with me now, because people who don't really follow that side of me, most of my classes are online, so it's really cool to have the opportunities when they come around to do the classroom training. And I'm presenting on loot boxes and mental health on Saturday at a conference in Florida. So
wow,
I can't do my Goonies Never Say Die tomorrow night, or raid night, because I will be I will have landed by then, but there's no way. So
Right, and of course that's why we're doing this show at a special day this time, and then it'll go back to normal.
Yeah, it'll be on the regular Thursday, and if I'm doing my calendar right, the next Thursday will just be a few days before Swtor Unite. So that's going to be super cool.
Very nice. All right.
All right, how about you, Chill? What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, let me do a shout out to the chat room. We've got Agent Iron Spider, Cog Whistle, Deck is here as Dekion, and you're here as well, Doc. Inkata1, KJ, SMLD, Siskaika, Skinny Seahorse, Slow Cool, Sinwolf69, and Marcus is here as Working Class Nerd 17. Hey everyone, thanks for coming at this unusual time for us. Alright, I've been just cranking along trying to gear for Swtor Unite. My character is now at CXP rank 181, so just hit tier 3, and haven't gotten all that much gear, last week or so, because that, once you're well into a tier, you sort of get everything, and then you're just waiting for the next tier. So I really need to, get up more tier levels and get to the end so that I can get as high as I can get through that. And I'm thinking that it might be good if I pug some EV raids and operations and stuff like that. So I did change a crew skill. I was doing slicing as a third one, and I wasn't doing any actual crafting at all, but I wasn't really doing anything with the slicing. I did not... It turns out the stuff that I was getting from slicing was not selling well on the GTN, and there wasn't really just a whole lot of point to doing it. There was only, there's a few boxes in the field, of course, but it didn't add up to that much. So I decided to drop biochem, and I took it up. That was only a few days ago, but I'm now at 600. I have a stim, a bio pack, and an adrenal, all the never use versions that you get from Umbara. Yeah. And in order to do that, I did Crisis on Umbara, so I could actually get the things from the vendor. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice actually to have a health pack where you don't have to think about oh, am I running out, or oh, I need to go buy some more or whatever. It's just there. And it's kind of the same with the adrenals, because I never even bother with adrenals normally. And now it's oh, every 3 minutes if I'm in a tough fight, while I'm doing a world little champion fight or something like that out in the world, just pop an adrenal, it goes that much faster. So it's pretty nice.
Right, and it's really good to have that as on cooldown, a buff for your character that you use. That
exactly
helps with endgame content immensely.
Yeah, absolutely. And now I also have some stims that I can just give to someone if I want to, and then I just keep the never used up one. So it's pretty slick. And I didn't drop treasure hunting for diplomacy. I was considering that, but then it's I went on the GTN, and it's well, the diplomacy stuff, it's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive either. And I just didn't feel like leveling another one to 600. And treasure hunting was doing okay for me. I do a few lock boxes, and I sell a few gems here and there. The blue gems sell for pretty much what you sent the crew member out for. But whenever you crit, those are actually pretty valuable on the GTN. So it's all good. So I'm keeping treasure hunting, and I'll just buy the diplomacy stuff once in a while off of the GTN, and that will be fine. So yeah. So overall, enjoying that. Obviously, you need to keep pushing, get the character geared up. Since I just hit tier 3, I'm still not super high in terms of gear level, but I'm working on it. And I haven't spent any of my what are they called, the stuff that when you don't care about the gear and you just disintegrate it and you get those pieces. I haven't spent any of those, so hopefully I'll be able to get at least a couple of decent pieces of gear in a little bit here. So that'll help as well. But I'm not worried about that until I'm a little closer to Swtor Unite. All right, and that will bring us to the tip of the week. We do have a tip this week, one of them, so random doesn't really come into it, but Agent Iron Spider sent in a tip, and he wrote, he's also in chat today, and he wrote, the Iocath world boss is quite easy to defeat with 2 or 3 players. And this is kind of cool, actually, because I've been doing all the all the daily areas, including World Iocath, even though it takes 2 days, just because it's a lot of points to just like leave on the table. So, but I never do that like huge droid one because it's like, and I can't do that one solo. But it's good to know that if I just get like one other person, it's actually defeatable. And he writes, so in Agent Iron Spider writes, the Iocath world boss is quite easy to defeat with 2 or 3 players. This is how. First, you need at least 2 people to buy the armor-piercing rocket launcher. Cost is 3,000 credits and 20 Iocath power shards. A portable missile turret, 3,000 credits, 35 power shards. Portable sentinel turret, 3,000 credits, 35 Iocath power shards again. And portable carbonizer turret, again, 3,000 credits, 35 Iocath power shards. And if you've ever done Iocath, you know that the power shards come pretty quickly. The rockets are your main DPS. It takes about 5 rockets to defeat the Colossus. The 2 DPS turrets will hold the aggro of the Colossus as long as you let them start the attack. And finally, the carbonizer turret will stun the Colossus, and you keep moving and you avoid the red circles. And apparently that's all there is to it. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I'm kind of curious to try this, but I appreciate the information mostly. So that's
Chill. We should just go do it together, and so we can either share our victory or lament our poor use of this tip next episode.
Awesome. All right, and so no randomness needed. The winner is Agent Iron Spider. Congratulations, you're the winner of a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show. And that will bring us to the Jedi Mind Trap. Dr. Swtor?
All right, thanks, Chill. All right, everyone. So this week, of course, the thing that's been on my mind when I'm playing the game and when I'm not playing the game and when I'm thinking about making PowerPoint slides that I should make and when I'm thinking about how I'm not going to make them but I really should, it's been the cartel market for our game, loot boxes in general for video games. And this is one of those areas that society is really struggling with. For example, Battlefront 2, another Star Wars game, was going to do them one way, and because of the Star Wars IP, it just became a catastrophe when, honestly, they were doing exactly what the industry standard is with loot boxes. It's just, that it's attached to Star Wars. So, we tend to get pretty exaggerated when we're aggravated, I'm finding. At least on social media, which maybe isn't a good indicator of real life all the time. Maybe that's another Mind Trap poll, right? Okay, anyway. So the idea here is I wanted to understand, does our game treat loot boxes differently, which those would be the cartel market packs.
Right.
And there's been some really interesting conversation between me and the people who are interacting with this poll. Instantly, people were saying, there's actually a 5th or a 6th option, which I talked about that last episode. If you
can only do the 4. Yeah.
Right, there's only 4, and also the option that I have can't be too elaborate because I'm limited to 25 characters, including spaces and punctuation. So I chose these 4 with the idea in mind that I'm interested in the use of currency, real-world currency, for these coins and for these items. So, Of course, the thing any intelligent human being will do if they don't want, if you don't have $200 to spend on random packs until you get, the Kylo Ren lightsaber, is wait for BioWare to make a direct sale, or wait for someone to put down the GTN for less than 125 million credits.
You're right.
So, that is an option, but it's an option that doesn't result in the passing of currency beyond you subscribe to the game or... can free-to-play access the GTN? Do we, I don't know.
I've forgotten that particular detail.
I haven't been free-to-play, so I don't know.
I think they can. They're just limited to a limited amount of credits.
Right, so they can't buy the big stuff because they have the escrow.
Correct.
Okay, got it. So, that they're not getting the Kylo Ren lightsaber off the GTN. So, the Defiant vented lightsaber, I should say. So, the question is, if you really, really, really want something for your character, and I'm sure all of us have seen at least one item where it's like, man, I know exactly what character I want that for. I know exactly where in my stronghold I want that thing to be, or I would look so cool circling around the fleet in that because I spend so much time waiting for my raid group to get formed up. And so we just, feel this desire to have it in our collections and on that character and use it and look cool and be cool. So option one was, when I see something on the cartel market that I want for my characters, I will buy many hyper crates. So we're talking, $80, $120, $160 investment in the cartel market and just get all the random stuff that comes along with those packs so you can sell it on the GTN. Like, some people buy hyper crates specifically so they can get the thing they want and then fund the rest of their characters by playing the GTN with the rest of the stuff.
Sure.
Right? So that's why option A is buy many of them. And then some people can make that plan work with just one hyper crate. Still very good chance, assumedly, to get the main item you want, and then you can still play the GTN and get some credits and host some cool PvP events where you reward the winner with all those millions you make. So, there's still some social status of having those items, and there's still the excitement of opening the boxes. Then the next one is, I don't really want to spend $35 or $40 on coins, so let's just buy some packs, because I get my 500, 600 coins every month. And, I can drop an extra $10 to get 3 more packs, right? So that's my thought process there. And then option 4 is really the one that branches into that GTN option, if you really think about it. It's direct sale or nothing. So BioWare, I'm not playing your random odds games. We had 111 votes, and direct sale or no sale just stomped the other options, which, the way gambling works, the way loot boxes tend to work, that's what you would expect is whales generally fund the game through these markets and these purchase centers.
Right.
And that's where a small percentage of the players spend a high volume of the money.
Yeah.
And have the largest quantity of the resources. So we had 5% in each option A and B. So that tells me very few people actually buy hyper crates anymore. I'm curious if this would have been different when the crates and the packs were specific sets versus what the ultimate pack that we're doing
Right. It's
now.
pretty much just the ultimate pack nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I ever see, but I'm not super good at following this either. So I was just curious at community involvement. So in order to get to the bottom of this, Dekion or Chill, what's your general method of interacting with the cartel market?
Okay. Go ahead, Deck.
I don't know if he's probably going to listen and I'll get in trouble. I'm a whale. I will fully admit that straight up. I do love to open packs, and it could be just the gambling aspect. It could be, oh, what am I going to get? It could be the thrill of the hunt. But, once every couple of months I will buy a hypercrate just to see what happens. I bought one recently, ended up getting Revan Reborn, Eternal Command Flare, a Riot tuning, concealed body armor. Some things that I would deem probably expensive on the GTN.
That's a good haul.
But on the other hand, how much stuff is still in my Pack Explorer, right, that I don't actually claim yet. So when it comes to things like emotes or dances that are direct for sale, I don't even bat an eye. For example, the Jawa flare that came out last week, I couldn't wait to log in and buy that. And yeah, it was 1,000 cartel coins, but I'm the Guild Master of Utini. I have to have that. So
That's awesome.
you know, the 1,000 plus the 400 to open it legacy wide, and now I wear it proudly on all my tunes.
Wow. Well, that's actually really cool. In fact, as a sidebar, I was just wondering, Chill, have you ever had any conversations with people at BioWare about how we need to be able to block our character's image and be a Jawa? Like, was that your idea?
I don't know, but it's very cool.
It was like made for us.
Yeah,
It was.
it kind of is.
And I couldn't help it. I DM'd TO and was like, dude, you got to see this. They finally made one.
So what does it do anything to your actual character or only to your character portrait?
Just the portrait, and next to your name, it shows a little Jawa.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the nameplate will say your character in it instead of like your command level insignia. That's what all my tunes display, just because I like to see it go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's a Jawa head, and so now in our raid team, everyone except for like 3 people are all Jawa heads running around these boss fights.
Though it was funny because for World Boss Wednesday last week, I showed up with it, and by the end of it, I think 8 of us had it. So
That's
BioWare
cool.
made some coin.
You're a great ambassador for BioWare. Chill, what about you? What's your general mode of interaction with these crates and acquiring these items and things like that?
Yeah, for me, it comes down to sort of my my general mindset when it comes to this sort of thing. I tend to sort of restrict myself in terms of like how much actual money I'll spend on like entertainment, which is kind of limiting when it comes to this sort of gaming, but I don't know, it's kind of helped me. It's helped me in the fact that, you know, I haven't gone like hog wild on any of the games that I've played for the most part. So like even when I'm going to like, you know, Vegas or something, like we did, you know, when we made up for the first Utini Cantina, I do gamble, but for me, I see it as like entertainment, you know, so I'm not, I basically have a little mental budget. I gamble that. Once it's gone, usually it's gone, but if I win, great. But once it's gone, I don't feel the urge to like keep going. And it's much the same inside a game that has anything that you can buy, and so that includes Swtor. So I'm very happy actually because of the subscription, because it kind of that is the little thing that allows me to spend money on it regularly, and it gets me some cartel coins that I can then spend kind of however I want. And so what I've done in the past is I've never really bought any hyper crates, except I bought one I think off the GTN. It's expensive to do it that way.
Yeah.
I have purchased occasional packs off the GTN and also directly from the cartel market, but I've found them, while they're sort of fun, I don't really find them all that satisfying, because if you only do a few packs, you don't get the large number effect of, you know, pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to get something good. So I've had a lot of like periods where I've tried like 3 packs in a pack type that I knew had, you know, something or several things that I wanted, and just not getting much out of that. So so I've defaulted to getting it off the GTN or direct sales. So that's what I do. In fact, when they had the direct sale like open up, buy almost anything off of the direct sale recently, a few months ago,
Right.
you know, I got the Consair Revolution, and I got a couple of other like creature mounts that I've always wanted, stuff like that. And so that for me, that's actually more interesting. But I understand, I absolutely understand that the hyper crates and the packs in general are much more, you know, successful for them than direct sale.
Right. And also the time before direct sale, certainly the results would have been very different, right? It's very different when your choices are, you know, GTN and wait, you know, direct, like the hypercrate probably is the best option if they don't do direct sale items for the week.
Mm.
You know, and just maybe 18 months ago was the first time I remember them doing a direct sale. Maybe my timeline's a little bit shrunk down where it should be. Maybe it's more like 2.5 years ago. But I've never won anything good that I was excited about from a hypercrate. I think I've bought 3 in my time playing SWTOR, and I'm the worst gambler of all time. Like, honestly, maybe that's why I do what I do. The point is, like, I didn't want to make this a diatribe against gambling. I think that it is obviously important to make sure things like your light bill and your car payment and things like that are paid before you start buying hypercrates. One thing that was asked to me almost as soon as I put the poll up was, what do I think about loot crates in general, and also how they work in SWTOR. And Star Wars The Old Republic does something pretty cool with how they do loot boxes. Is I don't have to have luck opening a pack to randomly get something that's going to make it more likely that I will beat Nightmare Brontis. Right?
Yep.
Everything
exactly.
related to my skill and ability to perform in game, that's up to me to invest the time in the right activities, do the math on my spreadsheet, and make that translate into how I'm building my character. The cartel market does not help me with that. And so the desire to achieve is actually a really big drive for people continuing to purchase random things inside games. Did I talk over you, Dekion?
No.
I didn't? Okay. So I think that that's really great. I hope that never changes. Not to say that games that do put kind of a performance factor on the random stuff are automatically wrong for doing that. But, I just kind of accept that I suck at those games and walk away. I know other people, right? Other people might keep purchasing because it's a game where they have an emotional investment and I want to be good at this. So those are the kinds of things I'm always thinking about is, how do I go about getting this item? What does that item mean for me if I have it? What does it mean about me playing the game if I never get it? And sometimes it's hard to accept that you'll never get it. So that's really all I wanted to say. I think that our community has voiced emphatically that they don't like spending real life money on random stuff. So I didn't know for sure that would happen, and it's been a really neat time discussing that with people over the week. So if we don't have anything else to add to that, Chill, we can go about our business. Move along.
All right, that will bring us to the holo feed, and we're going to go over the news. So 593A did drop. It actually dropped today. It feels weird to say that because we usually record on Thursdays. We don't almost never have an update on our recording day, but it did happen today. And 593A had only one change. The Merciless Seeker armor set has been added as a rare drop from the Eyeless during the Rakghoul Plague event, which is pretty kind of cool, actually. The maintenance, however, was extended, and because of that, Eric put out a post. He said, "Hey, I want to thank all of you again for your patience today. Certainly an extended maintenance like this is not something we want to have happen, and prolonging our downtime like that is not a decision we make lightly. Let's talk about what happened. If you look at our patch notes, it looks like this entire downtime was just to push out a small update containing one change. Although that was part of our planned downtime, it was just a very small portion. The majority of our downtime today was actually for some back-end updates that we needed to make. During our testing of those back-end updates, it became clear that there was a fairly severe account-level issue. This issue impacted everything from access to our website to in-game purchases. We look for a few opportunities to come online while leaving some services down, such as the website, but ultimately this would have been too risky to your accounts. What I mean by risk is that it could have put your account in a potentially bad state, which is not a safe thing. We were able to resolve the underlying issue and confirm that things are all good for accounts. Thanks everyone, Eric." So, pretty interesting thing there. It's good to know that they have account integrity like right at the top of their list, and they're in fact quite willing to keep the game offline if the accounts are not safe, essentially.
I'm glad they caught it too before they let the servers go live and maybe operated for hours with the loophole that they found. They found it before they even had a consequence. So good for them.
Yeah, and
I don't mind reading notes like that ever.
I feel like their transparency is a lot higher over the last year or so as well when it comes to this sort of thing.
Right, possibly because of the changes near the top.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Absolutely, it makes sense. It's nice that it's it's affecting everything that they're doing. And let's see, Eric also wrote once the PTS was live, he just kind of let everyone know what you can actually test on the PTS. And I just thought this was interesting because of the last bit. But anyway, what was available for testing was Master Mode, Gods from the Machine, Veteran Mode, Gods from the Machine, Story Mode, Gods from the Machine. And then available in the coming weeks will be a PvP challenge, which they talked about on the live stream, and it was on, I think, the last OotiniCast. The OSIS Daily Area, which sounds cool. Guild leveling and perks, guild management updates, and conquest changes. So lots of really cool things that they talked all about on their live stream, and that we talked about almost immediately afterwards. However, what they said what will not be available on the PTS will be the Jedi Under Siege storyline, which is kind of nice because that way, if what you really love about SWTOR is the story, then you won't have to be like on tiptoes on social media worried about spoilers about the story, because it's not going to be on the PTS. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and just as a warning to people who do enjoy playing the Old Republic that way, just be aware that data miners are not your friends, and that information seems to be out there. So just make sure the people you're following on social media and that you engage in conversation are not the kinds who love spoiling. Because I know BioWare's aware that these people exist, and hopefully they've planted some false information on the PTS stuff. But just because you can't access something on the PTS doesn't mean it's not in the code, and that's not a legitimate way to support the game. So
right,
test the things that they give us to test and give them that data, but be cool.
All right. And there's also changes to the operations. There's actually a fair bit of this, and this is all still on the PTS, and so it could be changing and everything like that. So because of that, I'm going to put in the show notes, but I'm not necessarily going to go over every last detail. Just in general, though, it was kind of interesting to see. They were making story mode easier as well as veteran mode, and they did a lot of sort of obvious things where they're just straight up reducing the damage of certain abilities, reducing the health of certain creatures and so on. But not a lot of no talk really about the master level. These are about changes to the story level and to the veteran level. And did you have it?
Oh, sorry.
It's in line with what they said on the live stream as far as I can tell. Did you have any other further things to say about this, Dr. Swtor?
Yeah, it looks like they've done a lot to give you more time to react to what the bosses try to do.
Right.
Right. So, it seems like a simple note that adjusts this phase transition from 65 to 60% for the boss's health. But when you do that,
right,
it makes the next phase shorter because you're burning 5% less off the boss before that phase ends or until the fight ends.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to have as much chaos at that final burn because you got there faster and the boss has done fewer things because the boss is also slower, and some of the debuffs that would hit you don't hit you anymore. And it just seems like they want people to finish this op at that level. And then they never want you to finish it 2 levels up from that, which I'm excited about.
Nice. All right. So it's basically, it is going to be a lot more forgiving for sure, and that'll be good for for people who are just getting into the operations or getting back into them. All right, and there was a bug regarding the Hollow Rancor, which is a mount that I still covet but do not yet have.
Uh-huh.
It's a very cool mount. And unfortunately, it was a little too much for me to buy when it was available to buy directly. It was still very expensive, and I decided not to get that one. So,
Right.
but it is very, very cool, and it's one of the more recent ones, of course. And they've done like some variations on it as well. But anyway, there's a bug apparently. I haven't used my Holo Rancor mount in a while, but when I used it today, there wasn't any hologram around it. It was just the metal skeleton, and Eric just wrote back, the team is aware of this issue and will look to fix it in a future update. So they are aware of that issue if you're having problems with your Holo Rancor, which even the skeleton is actually pretty cool. But I agree that, you got to have the hologram around it to really finish it up. Let's see. There's also celebrating Knights of the Old Republic's legacy in SWTOR and also Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So the Old Republic team decided to release celebrate the release of classic KOTOR characters, in the acclaimed Star Wars mobile game Galaxy of Heroes, by actually making it so that free to play players is for some reason hard to say for some reason for me tonight, can actually put in a code, and it will actually unlock Rise of the Hutt Cartel, which is the level 51 to 55 expansion, and Shadow of Revan, level 56 through 60. Very cool. I mean, it's called, and just in case you're one of those people, Revan's Fate, REVANS FATE. So you basically redeem that code. You go to swotor.com, you log into your account. There's a place under my account to add a code, and it will be Revan's Fate. Of course, if you're subscribed or otherwise have unlocked it, I doubt this will do anything. But if you're free to play, and all you've been able to do is the story, the 1 to 50 class story, which, by the way, is amazing. And there's there's 8 different ones, 6 or 16 advanced classes or whatever. So I mean, there's tons of story to do anyway. But now you can actually go a little bit past that. So it's kind of nice to know that that's available. And in conjunction with that, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is actually making it so that you can unlock Jedi Knight Revan in the new Legend of the Old Republic event live on October 18th. So that's obviously going on now. So pretty cool. A lot of Revan stuff going out there for the big Revan fans. I know there's a lot of Revan fans out there. And
yeah, it's really cool too, because when I see that there's going to be a Jedi Knight Revan, it seems like eventually down the line there's room for a different kind of Revan.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
That's like a key part of his whole character is,
yeah,
he's
that
the
he's
original,
seen both sides.
Yeah, he's the original choices matter in Star Wars.
That's true.
I mean, in the sense that you get to see both sides depending on how you consume the story. So,
right.
I mean, I know in the original trilogy, Darth Vader had a choice, save Luke or not, but we see the option he chose, and we never see the other one. So, like, BioWare giving us the dual option where we know what Revan becomes if he's evil, we know what he becomes if he's good. Well, I mean, I guess if he switches back to being evil, returns to evil, whatever. But I guess the canon story is that he kind of lived out a huge chunk of his life on the light side.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's what our flashpoints indicate. So, the Revan novel, too.
Right, that's right. Yeah, and there was a Cartel Market update, which this is actually going to go back to the item we were talking about before, which is the Jawa mask flare. But there's also a couple of other things that they did mention on the live stream a couple of weeks ago. The Dreadseed weapon tuning, which is the one that puts a Dreadseed on your back, and then your whole upper body has this glowing effect, and that's available as well. The Merciless Seeker's armor set, that's the chitinous one, kind of looks insect-like or kind of lobster-like, but it's also Mandalorian at the same time. It's pretty cool. There's a mount from Umbara called the Bod Gladiopod, which I thought looks like an Acklay meets Cthulhu. It's kind of like Acklay shaped, but it has these like Cthulhu tentacles on its face. It's kind of cool. I kind of dig that. The Devious Creep Pet, which is very weird but very cute. I think it's amazing. Kind of. It's like weirder the more you look at it, and yet it's kind of cute in a weird way too. So
that eyeball is great.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also the mischievous mini probe pet, which hovers around shoulder height, and apparently it regularly sprays you with confetti. I didn't actually put a picture of that one in the show notes because I think it looks much better as an animated thing that you can find out can find on Swtor if you really want to see it. And then I do have a picture of the Jawa mask flare as well. So I get it. So I'm seeing the flare, but the Jawa picture I kind of assumed they were doing as a joke. But you're saying that the actual whole your little portrait is actually going to be replaced by the picture of this Jawa.
Yep.
That's really funny. And it is account wide, not legacy wide, like most unlocks are. Is that right, Deck?
I think it's the same as other collection unlocks.
Yeah, so it's just account wide, which is awesome. That's a lot of fun. So I might that might be something I just have to plunk down for, because let's face it, this is the UtiniCast. We can't not have the Jawa stuff going on.
I'm surprised Musco hasn't sent you a complimentary version.
That's okay.
Wait, can we get that? Is that
we could ask. But I think I'm willing to actually just plunk down for it. It looks pretty awesome. So the first word is Jawa. I'm trying to make out what the next one is. Is that it's not mask. I'll have to look it up and see what it actually says. But yeah, that looks really that's really cute. Dr. Swtor, one question I had earlier from it, when like a bunch of people had that flare all rolling, does it affect like your like if you're in a group, does it make it harder to like know who's who right at a glance?
Well, when I'm healing, I'm looking at the names in the raid frames a lot.
Yeah, and the raid frame doesn't have the picture, does it?
No, the raid frame doesn't, but if you look at who I'm targeting, that picture does switch to the Jawa. So if if you're a very visual healer, it could cause a problem, because, if you actually memorize what your teammates look like in game and that's how you decide who to target, now everyone's a Jawa. But luckily for our team, I look at names and I don't... Okay, so when you were describing what the mount looked like a few minutes ago, Chill, I'm just going to admit it. I don't even look at what mounts people are on. Like, I know what mount I'm on, but I'm not visually connected to the game that way. So I would have never noticed that it's Cthulhu with an Acklay at all, because I would see the legs and be like, oh, it's one of the four-legged ones, and then I'd move on. So... if you are a visual healer and you have 7 Jawas in your group, you might get confused, but the nameplates are still fine. The letters are still in basic. You can still see the red bars that are filled up and the ones that are not. So minimal effect, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, and we'll do one bit of Star Wars news. And there's a Star Wars comic that's revealing why Darth Vader built his castle. And that was actually one of the interesting things when you saw in Rogue One that Darth Vader had, a castle that he was staying at, and of all places it was on Mustafar, where he, lost the battle to Obi-Wan and lost his limbs and almost died and got burnt and basically started his transition to Darth Vader. Well, why would he build there of all places? And I don't want to go into too much detail here. It goes into some pretty specific detail in this little article that I found. But just in general, apparently, like, he finds some dark side secrets, finds a way to potentially communicate with the dead, and of course, Darth Vader is still obsessed with Padme even after her death. So this castle is a way of potentially communing with the dead, and he's hoping to get in contact with Padme. And I won't say anything more, but there's quite a bit more detail actually in here, and it's kind of a cool idea. And and because even like when I was first seeing Rogue One, it's like I thought the castle looked amazing, and it really did, but it did feel really odd as a choice for Darth Vader to put anything there that he would stay at. So,
right. Well,
yeah.
The Star Wars storytelling model really in the past has maximized the time period jumps. So what I mean is, if you're used to watching sitcoms and episodic television, you're used to the story going, okay, this is what I watched last week, and everything that I see is going to be a direct progression from those points. And Star Wars kind of drops the audience 10 years in the future, 5 years in the future, 15 years in the future, consistently, except for episode 7 and 8. And so Rogue One is really, 19 years after we saw Anakin burn.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that palace is there, and you would assume that there's something behind that, like in Anakin's time figuring out, who am I really as Darth Vader? I should have a castle, like just somewhere in that progression. So this comic is really appealing to me. I want to read it so much. I saw this story also, so I'm excited that we brought it into our episode. I just really wonder, all these planets have these epicenter collections of dark side energy that let the dark side people do cool stuff. Where are all the planets that are beacons for the light side of the Force? I mean, Octo, Dagobah, and now Mustafar has one of these spots where it's ideal for doing dark side things. Force, what's up with you? That's all I have to say.
Awesome. All right, we'll go on to the Force feedback, reading out tweets and emails. This is actually essentially a tweet that I sent out myself because I wanted everyone to check out Swordorista's excellent video. It's on YouTube, and it's about the lore that's already out there regarding Ossus, where our Swtor December story is going to be happening, because it's going to be it's already on the PTS, although, as we discussed, the actual story itself is not going to be on the PTS, but Ossus is. And anyway, we're going to get this whole story and this whole daily area and world bosses and all that good stuff in Ossus, and that's scheduled to drop in December. But it is a planet that already exists in Star Wars lore, and Swtorista does an excellent job of going over it. And she apparently worked with someone to get all the writing done, and she was really proud of it too. Anyway, I highly suggest everyone check out Swtorista's YouTube channel, and it's her most recent, as of right now, it's her most recent video. So definitely check that out. All right, was there anything else?
No, I'm very happy with what we did this episode.
Awesome. All right. Well, have a good presentation in Florida.
Yeah, actually, just one more update on that. There should come a time where a recorded version of the presentation becomes available. So if anyone's interested in what I'm doing, there's no Star Wars: The Old Republic appearance in my presentation. It's focused entirely on a different game with a very specific issue, but it could be interesting if you want to see what I'm more like when I have the tie and a podium, as opposed to the blue screen and games on my mind. I'm excited to be involved in the video game stuff on both sides.
Excellent. Yeah, that's going to be excellent. So, all right. Well, good luck to that. To you on that. And
Thanks.
That's the show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Thursdays, usually at 6 p.m. Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thanks to the chat room, and thanks for updating us, Deck.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me again.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone. All right, this is where we're going to stop the live show, and I'll get going on editing. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, presumably. And that'll be really close to SWTOR Unite, so it's going to be down to the wire for me. I got to keep gearing up. Have a good one. All right, stopping the stream, and